Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to replace the HDMI cable. You might need to do that if you are experiencing errors while trying to get a photo of your cards. You should see in the logging tab that the Magic Sorter is reporting an error while trying to communicate to the camera. This most likely happened because the cable that is laid inside the drag chain is damaged. In order to fix it, we have to replace it. Before continuing, the first step should be to double check that the source of the error is actually the HDMI cable. And in order to test this theory, we have to replace the HDMI cable directly from the camera adapter to the other adapter that is inside the touchscreen cover. And we are not going to place the HDMI cable inside the drag chain, but simply leave it flying around and perform a quick test. If the test is successful, it means that the culprit was really the HDMI cable and we have to replace it. The first step is to remove the cover from the frame, exposing the internal electronics. The cover is held in place by 6 screws, 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom. There is no need to fully remove them, but simply to loosen them by a little. Let's start doing it. So when they are loosened, you can simply detach it from the frame. And to avoid issues with the other cables and the touchscreen, I strongly suggest you to detach the power supply for the Raspberry Pi and the video output for the touchscreen and the power output for the touchscreen, and to remove as well the power supply for the electric board. This way the touchscreen is fully detached from the frame. The HDMI cable runs inside the drag chain, then gets under the touchscreen cover from this hole, then runs under the electric board and arrives here to the other adapter that is inside the electric panel, and then the signal gets converted again for the Raspberry Pi. What we are going to do is to simply attach the new cable here and on the camera, so we can test if it's currently working or not. So as a first thing, we are going to remove the original HDMI cable and we plug the new one. In the same way, we are going to detach the original HDMI cable from the camera holder and attach the new one. As I said, we are going to do that on the fly. We are not going to pass it inside the drag chain, since we simply want to test if everything is okay. Now the new cable is attached, so we can double check if everything is working correctly before moving on and actually laying down inside the drag chain. In order to do so, get inside the Troubleshooting tab, Camera Test step, and then click on the Test button. The machine will try to get an image, and as you can see, it will be outputted here. There is no need to be perfect, and the most important thing is to read the success message. In this way, now we know that the machine will work again with the new cable, and we can start replacing it and laying it down in its right place. Now that we know for sure that the HDMI cable is the source of the error, we can start removing the old one and lay down the new one. And in order to do that, we are going to open the drag chain. And if you take a closer look, all sections are made of small leads that we can open with a flat screwdriver. In the drag chain, there are several wires. My suggestion is to open only few sections of it, remove the HDMI cable, and then close it again. Otherwise, you could have issues where all the other cables are running out and they get tangled each other. So let's start removing the HDMI cable. Now that we have removed the HDMI cable from this drag chain, we have to repeat the process with the other one. And now we have to remove the HDMI cable from this drag chain too. And finally, the cable is out of the drag chain. You have to cut a couple of zip ties down here to let it free, and then you can simply remove it from the panel. Now it's time to attach the new cable. With the new cable, we will start from the horizontal drag chain, and then lay down here, connect to the adapter. This way we can adjust the length that is sticking out from the drag chain. And done. Remember to close all the small leads of the drag chain so the cable is not going to get out. Finally, it's the time for the left drag chain, and again the same logic applies. Open few leads, lay down the new cable, and then close them. Again, remember to push all the leads closed, otherwise the end stop on the left could catch on them. Now it's time to pass the head of the new HDMI cable here on this hole. Pull the cable like this, and then pass it under the electric board, and finally attach it again to the HDMI adapter. So if you really want, you can attach the cable here inside with a zip tie, or you can just leave it a bit loose. That's not a big problem. The replacement of the new cable is completed. Now we can reattach the touchscreen cover and continue working as usual. One last thing, to avoid these cables to get in touch with the moving head and maybe causing issues, we have to secure them with some zip ties. So we have first to secure them here on the top, and you can use a zip tie and just tight it a little, and this is just a bit loose since its main purpose is just to avoid the cables to get apart and move around. Here, instead, we have to firmly secure them so they stay in this position and they are not going to move in any way. In order to do that, here under the cables there is a small fixture where we can insert a zip tie and securely close it. Now that the zip tie is in place, we can close it. Double check that no cable is actually pinched, and then there, it's completely closed. I strongly suggest to cut any extra length of the zip tie, so it's not going to mess around with the moving parts. And done, your machine is ready to start sorting again.